So if you want to talk about design, function, purpose, I think we're on the same page. We just have to pick our words because we have to use language and agree this is what we mean by them. And then from there, then the question is there directionality in that sense? And let's just take into consciousness or intelligence, since that's what you've written a lot about. And back to my example of sharks, okay, they've been around 400 million years, pretty much the same that they've always been. And that's true for most species, genus, lineages, whatever level you want to talk about. There isn't a lot of directionality once you get to, after the Precambrian explosion, and then the diversity of life, say, 200 million years ago. Pretty much there's not a lot of directionality after that in terms of more complex. The one peculiar thing we're all interested in, because it's us, is our own consciousness, and that holds a special place. But if you take us out of it for a minute and just ask if there's something special about brains, big brains, and you agree on the epiphenomenal explanation for consciousness, it's just you just have to have so many neurons to get there, which means you need bigger and more complex brains. For most organisms, there's just nothing special about it. Brains are too expensive to run. It's probably better to not have big brains and consciousness. It's probably to better be a zombie because you're more efficient and simpler in terms of investing your energy into getting resources for survival and reproduction that doesn't require a big brain. So other than us, I don't see the directionality.
Yeah, but we're the important thing, I think, in a sense that I'll now try to elaborate on. And one thing this gives me is a chance to elaborate on what I meant when about how I can see the relationship between directionality and purpose. So to go back to Dawkins's book, arguing that, yes, animals demand a special kind of explanation in life generally. But if you ask, well, what are the things about an animal that would make you suspect that they were in some sense designed, either designed in quotes by natural selection or, whatever, but designed things, first of all, it's the manifest functionality of an adult organism, these complex organs that seem unlikely to have arisen just by chance alone. But also, if you look at the unfolding, the embryogenesis, the ontogeny, I guess. There's a kind of directionality to the unfolding. It's like it goes to higher. It starts as an egg. It carries organization to higher and higher levels, and it creates functionality at those larger levels. Now, my argument is, if you look at the direction of life on Earth, it's actually not just that. And ask, is there a parallel between that and the unfolding of an organism? It's not just that I'm arguing it was likely to lead to something intelligent. It's like, well, the intelligent species it's in fact led to is now constructing what looks for all the world like a giant, superorganism with a giant global brain, the internet, right? So I'm arguing if you stepped back, you would have reason to say, wait, was the point of this to create some kind of giant global superorganism? And if that's the question, then the relevant question isn't, do species in general get more complex? The question is, as time goes by, does the level of intelligence and complexity of the most complex and intelligent species get higher? And more to the point, was the process likely to eventually produce one species smart enough to build the giant global brain, right? Smart enough to set cultural and technological evolution in motion that then leads to this thing. So I think analytically, the key question, it's not about some general tendency toward complexity per se. It's about the outer envelope of complexity. The most complex and intelligent species. Was that envelope likely to reach the level we're at? And you can argue both ways. I'm not saying it's an open and shut case, but just to be clear, that's where I think the argument needs to be.
Yeah.